Hello, YouTubers. I haven't been around for a while for many different reasons. One of the reasons have been that I really haven't had the time. Another reason is that I haven't really felt like doing any videos. I've been watching lots of videos on YouTube, but I haven't really felt that I had anything of interest for anyone to show. So I thought that, well, I've been doing this for 12 years now, so maybe it's time to give it up. And I also thought about making some sort of public announcement that, okay, that's it. Thank you for all the views during all these years and for all the friends that I made. So, but I thought, no, I may regret such a decision. So instead of just closing it all, I'll just let it be there. This channel. So, but in these troublesome times, I thought, well, why not just try to forget about it all and talk about records, look at records, make a video about records. Yesterday, I was on a nice trip to the neighboring city, Uppsala. I've done many videos before about going there, and I usually enjoy being there, and I did that this time as well because it was nice weather, a bit cold but sunny and pleasant for being early March. And also, there are some really nice record stores there. I usually do not go to all of them because they are a bit spread out, but I usually go to the one that's, well, many think of it as the best one, Open Mind Records, that is fairly close to the church, and another one that is fairly close to the train station that's called Skivcentrum. Those are the two ones that I usually go to, and usually I find stuff that I really want there. So this time I've found a third record store too that was very close to the cafe Ovandals, another place that I enjoy going when I go to Uppsala, even though I didn't this time. But let's say it was like a combined store with vintage clothes and vintage records. And I thought that the prices on their records were a bit too Stockholm-ish, so to speak. So I didn't really find anything of great interest there, not for the any price that I was willing to pay anyway. So I'm just going to do a regular old-fashioned show and tell what I found in Uppsala and a couple of few words about it. So let's get on with it. By the way, it's early morning here. I'm having my morning coffee and I'm in my bathrobe, so not really planning this, just decided what the heck, let's make a video. Nothing planned, no script, nothing, just records. First of all, I found two very nice albums with Brenda Lee. It's Brenda Lee, Bye Bye Blues, this one, and Brenda Lee, Coming On Strong, both on Brunswick, so they are British pressings of American issues. I think the American issues were on Decca. I think that's how it usually was, that American Decca material was issued in England on Brunswick, and English Decca, remember the English Decca and the American Decca are different labels. The English Decca material was issued on the London label in America. Something like that. I always liked Brenda Lee. First I heard her earlier work, of course, and I enjoy that a lot. But my favorite song with her is probably the ballad Johnny One Time that she made in 1969. And I think she's fairly still going strong. She was up again on the hit lists in the Christmas of, I think it was 2019, with her old recording of, what was it, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree or something like that. Anyway, these two were fairly cheap actually, and in good shape also. Not in mint condition, of course, but definitely in a very playable and nice condition. Actually, they look they're a bit yellowed on the back sleeves, but the records look very fine. So nice catches and surprisingly cheap. Maybe, I don't know, maybe those aren't that collectible, but I think that British issues of American albums are, I mean, quite fun actually, like stateside issues of American music with like Lee Dorsey and stuff. Anyway, over to another artist that I don't really have anything by, but who I like some individual songs of his, and I'm talking about Chris Rea, and this is a compilation album called The Very Best of Chris Rea, and it was originally issued on CD back in 2001, and this is a vinyl edition, double album from 2018. There was mainly one reason why I wanted this on vinyl, and that's the song The Blue Cafe, that I have some special personal memories to back in time, back in the happy-go-lucky 1990s. All right, so I thought this was a good idea to buy, even if I won't buy any of his other albums, a nice compilation like this. Good to have. All right, my way of reasoning is more or less the same with the next album. It's a compilation album with Amon Corner, featuring Andy Fairweather Low. Looks like this. On the Immediate label from 1977, a mix of, well, I guess, single hits and some live tracks. I mostly knew them for Hello Susie, that I got on a single somewhere. Right. Over to another artist that I really like and whose albums I can't have enough of, and still quite a lot of them to find, and it's the Norwegian singer-songwriter Øystein Sunde. And he's still active. He made his first solo album back in 1970, and this is his second solo album. Det året det var så bratt, och siden har terränget blivit mer och ulendt. Yeah. He's a great musician, great singer, great songwriter, and most of all, he has got a lot of very good sense of humor. And he makes songs that are both commenting old times and also modern times. He had a great opening track on one of his latest album, maybe even his latest, called Du är på YouTube nå, or something. Now you're on YouTube. So about the man who messed up while somebody was filming him, and now he's on YouTube. So he knows his current times as well. So yeah, I'm a great fan of Øystein Sunde. I first heard him in a Norwegian supergroup called Gitarkameratene back in the late 1990s, probably, and been looking for his albums since then. It was very difficult to find them the first years. A bit easier since I went to Stockholm, where there are more records to search. And still, there are many records in his discography that I haven't found yet, but yesterday I found this, his second album from 1971 on CBS. Right. Over to this. It's Fickle Pickle, Sinful Skinful. And this is reissue for Record Store Day. It also contains an extra single. It's on the Morgan Bluetown label, and the original LP was from 1970, but I think this was maybe issued 5 years ago, something like that. Interesting group. Okay, now over to a group that, or an issue rather, that I didn't know had been reissued. And we're talking about a Swedish prog group, progressive folk music group called Anna Cucafem Egg, jag är värd i huset. Yeah, very catchy name. It means Anna, boil 5 eggs, I'm the host in the house. And with a little furry dog who's, well, on the sleeve there. They have some really weird titles here. This is a bit like Philemon Arthur and the Dung, but with more folk music influences and instruments. This was originally issued on their own label, Flarep, in 1975, but this has just been reissued on vinyl just maybe a couple of weeks ago, and I had no clue that such a reissue was being planned. And it's a numbered issue. It was the reissue was pressed in 500 numbered copies, and so I thought, well, if I want one, I better get one fast, because the original is fairly sought after, fairly difficult to find. I've never seen it, so I guess this one will sell it will sell very fast and very well. It's a funny record. Silly, but funny and strange. Okay, over to a record that I actually didn't know existed, because I'm not an expert on. I don't know all their albums in their discography by heart, but it's the Staple Singers. To find their albums on Stax, at least here in Sweden, is very difficult. The one you keep finding is Be What You Are, which it's a good one, but it's not one of the greatest ones. This is the one that they made after that, City in the Sky, and I think it's from 1974. I think it may be their last album on Stax. I'm not sure there, but I think they switched label shortly after that. I think Stax was in a bad financial shape in 1974 as well. So yeah. Anyway, I've been a keen fan of Staple Singers. Got lots of compilations and CDs and some LPs, but they are not that easy to find. Even their older, more gospel-oriented albums are not that easy to find, especially not here in Sweden. And usually it's the same albums that you keep finding over and over again. So, right, let's move on. I bought the original soundtrack from the motion picture, the music composed by Mattias Berger, from the movie Call Girl from 2012. It's a horrifying movie. It's a very good movie, but it's horrifying. And when I saw it, I thought, well, I really like the music. So now when I found, fairly cheap also, this album with the original soundtrack, I thought, why not? Why not indeed? The Then we have another issue that I wasn't really aware of, even though, same here, I'm not an expert on their discography, but I got quite a lot of their records by now. I'm talking about Bow Wow Wow, the Malcolm McLaren product. This is called, I'm not sure what it's called. It's original recordings, the original recordings, or 16 tracks including blah, 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 blah. And from what I know, it's the same tracks that you can find on their debut album, the first album, which wasn't an album, it was a cassette, your cassette pet. They were quite controversial back time because they told the youth, yeah, make cassette copies of record music from the radio and don't buy records. Make your own compilations by recording music from the radio. And their first hit, C30, C60, C90 Go, is it that? Was all about that. And that was very controversial and something that the record companies didn't like, which actually you can understand. But I've always been a fan of both of Annabella Lewin's singing and also the bass playing and the rhythm, the so this is like the same material as on the first cassette, plus the single tracks from the early 1980s. So nice to have. And the final record is not a music record, it's a documentary. And it's called The Avengers. No, it's not about any movie about it. It sounds like some sort of action movie, but it's about the Boston Bruins ice hockey team in NHL. It's a documentary about the 1971-72 season. I guess they won the Stanley Cup that year because, yeah, Stanley Cup playoffs, highlight stories. Sometimes I find these, and I'm very interested in this kind of stuff. The material was usually issued on a label called Fleetwood, and I don't know that much about them, other than that they made like these kind of souvenir records every year about the winning Stanley Cup team, and I think they made about the Super Bowl and I mean football and baseball and stuff like that too. But of course, you don't find them here in Sweden because they were never sold here. All these are imported and very rare. I got some of these, like documentaries about the history of the NHL and so on. But since I'm very interested in ice hockey and especially the history of the NHL, this is very nice finding for me. And it's not that collectible here, so it's not that expensive either. I don't know how collectible it is today in the United States. There may be vinyl freaks who love sports as well. I don't know. Anyway, I've been speaking for 18 minutes, but since it was quite a long time since I spoke here the last time, that's fairly alright. So, I wish you all a nice day and see you soon again, I hope. Take care of each other. Play lots of records. Bye-bye.